Last time on the interview.
Mhm,
My biggest challenge, one of my biggest challenges throughout this transition process, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but now I'm saying
mhm,
the quiet part out loud, is not wanting it to be real. And so my
mm,
effort to not let the change be real, I'm just gonna kind of procrastination from,
mhm,
kind of boxing yourself in, kind of, being to yourself a little bit and not
mhm,
trying to accept what will eventually be. And so in some ways, not wanting to accept it, I mean I know what the I'll have to move into college at some
yeah.
point unless, somebody's gonna have to literally drag me in there, which they won't. Which you won't, but I will when the time comes, I will I'll get up and go. But there's a whole lot of things that need to happen before I can do that. And for me to be successful, all the great
Mhm,
successful things that, I would like to do, right away. I don't want to wait till second semester to be successful because that's gonna be
mhm,
a horrible first 3
definitely.
months of school. So I think it's hard to let go. It's not really letting go. I think I'm being a little stubborn and sticking on my high horse. I'm not gonna let go. But
Mhm,
okay, if you don't have to let go, what can you do so you're prepared? You
mhm.
know, you don't. You can stay firm in your ground that the rain's not coming, but just in case. But let's at least maybe might want to fix the roof. Just in
No,
case
that's
nothing. Yeah.
that's definitely true. I know I'm because I think we've both been leaders and good counselors. So I'll tell a funny story. I was the president of the ASA, right? And it's like after you put a lot of work into something, it's hard to like let go in a sense. So with the ASA, I still find myself like every now and then sneaking onto the Instagram and saying, okay, maybe I should post this. So on Juneteenth. Like I did a small post, just like to help out there. But I think what I've learned in my experience, because I always like there's always this internal conflict that too when you're getting something new or you're going somewhere new, you think you have to sacrifice something or give up something. But I was talking to my auntie the other day, and she made a really good point about friends, but I think the idea applies to this as well. It's not that you should let go of your old friends, but you should embrace new ones. And I think that's the same kind of idea we can apply here because I think it's still important to keep on hold on to those memories and those experiences, but you should also be open to embracing the new ones that are coming your way. So that's what I'm trying to do now, and I'm very excited for them. I'll be I'm on while I say I'm excited, I'm also anxious. It's like a two sides of a coin thing, but we'll see how it goes.
Be optimistic. I think it'll be great.
Mhm. Okay, well, funny enough, going right off that point, what are you most excited for and anxious for about starting college? So let's do like
Well,
two stuff you're excited for, two stuff you're anxious for.
okay, well, we're gonna balance it out because I could easily give you about 20 things I'm anxious for and about two things I'm excited for. But I think balancing out is fair. Um,
Mhm,
I think one thing I'm excited for is the chance to I I personally, especially after an experience I had last summer, really enjoyed, being around people and meeting people from different locations around the country and even the world.
mhm,
I think it's so cool how we can have things in common. I can have things in common with people that I never even knew existed, and
mhm,
how you can form this sense of community and family. And
mhm,
so I'm really excited to, meet people from all over the country and the world. I know it sounds cliche, but like literally, I am excited to like learn something new,
mhm,
about cultures, people, um,
mhm,
idea, however, whatever I can learn, I'm excited to like get a chance to be in an environment
mhm.
where I have that opportunity.
That
I
makes
guess
sense.
I can't give a long answer like that for everyone, and we'll be here all day on this question.
That's
I think one thing I am a bit nervous for is time management because I know I'm willing to admit that when given a lot of open-ended time, you know it's hard for me to develop that structure and routine. I was just talking to
Hmm.
a friend about that just today on
Hmm.
how hard it is to develop a structure and a routine when you're given a lot of time.
Definitely.
And so I would say, I guess you could say I'm nervous, but I think it'd be best for me to use it as an opportunity to grow
Hmm.
and to grow in that area and develop, a time because it's an important skill that can be
Hmm.
developed. It just will require a shift, but I think it's something I should treat as an opportunity and not like a dread, even though it may feel like that at the beginning.
Now, I
Um,
do see where you're coming from with because going to college, our schedule isn't like we have a block schedule and everything is from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. You basically set your own structure, and I think that's really weird and awkward. It's like it's a big transition that you don't really get prepped for, and you just have to jump at. Funny enough, I went to France with the school for an exchange trip, and their school routine is more similar to college, where there's larger blocks of time and people just have different stuff in general. So someone could have all the classes in the beginning of the day, another person it's more mixed. So I thought, like, do you think that would you have preferred that a more college-like schedule in your high school years, or would you have liked to keep your high school schedule?
well, would I have preferred it? I mean, the question is, how successful would I be?
Hmm.
I think I would have. Uh, it would have been an easier transition. Again, it's kind of denying it's going to come down the pike at some point. It's a question of whether it's going to be in high school or in college. I think, like in my math class, I've seen a lot of these skills in high school, a lot of the concepts we're learning in high school. But if I hadn't learned it in high school, I may have just been learning it now for the first time. I'm going to learn it either way. It's a question of when that happens, and there are pros and cons to each. I think personally, I'm happy with this more structured because it just makes my life a lot easier. And
Hmm.
I think because again, I know that the transition can be made,
Hmm.
I know what it's like to have structure, and I'll now know what it's like to not have structure, at least for structure. And then it will be up to me to kind of find that balance of structure and when to, ease off the brake a little bit.
Okay. Um, just out of curiosity, have you picked out your classes yet? Like, and what time
I
they are?
have.
So, are you going
Yes.
to be more of a classes in the day type of person, like beginning of the day, or are you going to do more of a dispersed schedule or classes at nighttime? Like, what does your schedule look like? How are you choosing to do your?
Well, because I like structure, I try to be as consistent as possible. So probably from like 9:30 to about I think 3 o'clock. Obviously not
Mhm.
like back to back to back to back to back. But having classes that start at a good morning hour gives me time to eat and
Mhm.
get mentally prepared. Then, not going till 6, 7 o'clock at night, I think is also beneficial for me too. So I think I've got a nice balance that works for me because I personally don't like early mornings,
Mhm.
and I think but it gives me an incentive to get up because if I don't, I will not get up till 1 o'clock.
Mhm.
So having that sense of structure and schedule, I think, is going to be good for me, and I'm happy.
And
I'm very happy with how my first semester schedule is looking.
it's funny you say early morning because I think we both have different definitions. Because I know for mine, they asked me what's like the earliest class you can have. I said 11 a.m. Because anything be like before 11 a.m., I think that's too early. So then I said like 11 a.m. to like 6, 7 p.m. And that's how I'm working. But I think it's really, that's what I kind of like about the college scheduling process is that it's so personalized to you as a person, so you're able to do what makes you succeed the best. That's what I really
Right.
like.
And obviously, as I had to do a little bit during my first semester scheduling process, you can't get everything you want. And
Hmm.
as personalized as it is, the colleges unfortunately won't move mountains to make you happy,
Hmm.
you specifically happy. Always, I should say. Meaning, you may want to take a class at 12:30 with a certain professor, but because you have to take this other required class, you may have
Hmm.
to just take it with a different professor. I think it's a lot of great skills through that scheduling process.
And
Flexibility, time management, um, you know, knowing yourself, what you want to do, what you think is best for you.
Hmm.
And but I think it's gonna be a great. I'm very excited. That it Yeah, one thing I'm excited for is knowing that my first semester is set in stone, and
That's
I'm happy to know what I'm gonna be doing Monday through Friday from 9 to 3. After that,
no. I'm
who knows? But
Mhm. So, like, do you think you're gonna be a big party person in college? Do you think you're going like what type of person do you think you're gonna be in college, if I may ask? Like, are you gonna join a fraternity? Are you gonna join a bunch of clubs? Or are you gonna be
well,
like
if you
more of
could tell me what type of person I'd be in college, I'd really love to know that. But
Mhm,
I think I'm just gonna uh I think to answer your questions directly, no and no.
mhm,
For now, at least, I think let's get the feet uh wet and get familiar with where everything is and where I
mhm.
need to be and stay on top. Have a successful first semester.
Definitely.
Um, and again, while there obviously will probably be lots of temptations, I think certainly not all 30,000 people are partying every
Hmm.
weekend. So if I don't want to party, there should
Hmm.
be others that don't
Definitely,
as
that's
well.
they definitely will be. I think we're in the same boat there then, because I think my goal this first semester is like get those feet wet and then just succeed as much as I can academically, make new friends, and just do that. Like have a very successful thing. Because I know like my family and some of my friends ask me like, "Oh, are you going to join clubs and stuff like that?" But I think this first semester I'm going to be a very in terms of just clubs and stuff like that. I'm going to be more restricted because I want to you know, search out the land and see what's going on first before I start moving around. But yeah, okay. Last question about not the last question, but I am very, very, very curious. How do you think you're gonna manage stress in college?
Once again, if you could tell me, that'd be great. But I think, well, we could talk about what works and what doesn't work. What
Mhm,
doesn't work is, believe it or not, I'm saying this for me, waiting till the very last minute to do stuff. Because I think while you may have an insane sense of focus that you
mhm,
probably didn't have for the 3 weeks the project was assigned, it's probably not good for your body long term. You'll feel like you've run a marathon. And
it,
then
it
you
definitely.
realize that, oh, wait, it didn't actually have to be this way. And
Mhm,
so I think, scheduling will help. I also think, um, and I hope that me not having access to food in my, not, or to say not that much food,
mhm,
at least not a whole pantry in my dorm room will avoid,
mhm,
the overeating or the nervous eating or the stress eating,
mhm,
um, which is not, which, probably, I very much like to play checkers in life and just go from one thing to the next. So it's like, yeah, I'll eat this today. Who cares what happens down the road? I'm just trying to get this paper done that I haven't started at all.
mhm,
But structure I think is going to be a critical thing for me.
mhm. I think definitely with your point on the last minute all nighters, I think my body has been worn out. Like my body now has like a physical built-in fear of anything I might do last minute. Like it's a spidey sense at that point where it's like if I see something and like a thought says, oh maybe I should do this later, my body just reacts in a certain way. So I'm hoping that spidey sense helps me out in college. But yeah.
Hey, that would not be a bad problem to have.
Hmm.
If your body just will like shut down. I mean, I'd love for my body to shut down sometimes. Maybe in situations I don't want to be in. Can we just like completely shut down? And
It's
so
the
we don't
worst.
have to do this.
Sometimes like my body does that, but it's at the worst times that it shuts down. So it's like if it's like when I don't want it to shut down. So like if it's in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., my body will not shut down. I'll just like be awake. But if it's like maybe a class lecture I should not miss, or if an important lesson, that's when my body starts feeling tired. And it's a whole process that I think I'm trying to fix now over the summer to deal with. 'Cause I don't want to be sleeping in my college lectures because that's gonna be very terrible to have to deal with.
Especially if you get to pick. the majority of the times, you should try and be awake for at least that hour or so that the classes are. Easier
Okay.
said than done.
So I think that brings us to our break. We're going to take maybe a 5-10 minute break, and then we'll go into journalism.